Welcome to the Traveling Professors. I'm Professor Bob.
And I'm Professor Sherry.
And together we are
the Traveling Professors.
Today, Sherry and I, in show number 70, we're going to take you on, it says a walking tour of Heraklion in Crete, but it was actually a walking tour and the double-decker bus tour. Because one of the things that we did is once we arrived and found that the double-decker bus was so close to our hotel, we saw that it went out to our main goal of going to Crete in the first place, which is to see the Minoan Palace at Knossos. So we ended up taking a nice little trip getting a handle on where everything was in the city of Heraklion. So we hope you enjoy this. Looking at our trusty map, we are on the island of Rhodes, on the very tip of it, and we thought we were going to take a nice ferry from Rhodes to Heraklion and Crete, and they do offer that. Unfortunately, it doesn't run very often, and it does take quite a while. And it was expensive. As a matter of fact, it was about twice as much as if we would just fly. So that's exactly what we did. We flew from Rhodes to Athens, changed planes, and then flew to Heraklion in Crete. Now here is where Heraklion is located. We're pretty much dead center on the island of Crete, which is technically, the Greeks refer to the island as Heraklion as well, and that's the capital city. Here you see where the two airports are located. And so we flew into the one by Heraklion, which is actually pretty much on the coast. And we were going to stay there for 3 nights, 3 days, 3 nights. And one day was dedicated to going out to Knossos, and one day was dedicated to seeing the museum. First one is our usual, let's get used to the area, find a place to eat. And the harbor has a really spectacular fortress, so we ended up doing a lot of fortress action as well. Now, if you look at the map of the city, you see this gigantic sprawl of green space. Well, that's basically the top of the fortification that the Venetians used to defend the city. Now, here we are located right here. So it's an easy walk down to the harbor area. So we will take our ferry ride from here to the island of Santorini when we're finished. And then this area right along in here is just full of wonderful restaurants. And this street right here is, for the most part, a pedestrian walk. So you can literally walk from here to the main museum without any problems. And you notice that they have various sporting fields and things along this fortification. You can relax. It is one thing that we did not walk. I would have liked it, but we needed another day, and it was probably a little much, but we did get some good pictures of it from the ground, so you won't feel like you haven't seen the walls protecting the city of Heraklion on Crete. Well, we had an early morning flight out of Rhodes, so we were taken out to the airport. And to give you an idea of some of the places that you could travel from Rhodes, notice the plane that we're taking, the Athens one at 10:20. You can go to Nuremberg, Hanover, Munster, Stuttgart, Munich, Helsinki. There's Athens again. Metz, Cologne, Leipzig, Heraklion, and that was an airline I did not like. And then you can go to London if you want to. You can go to a lot of places from Rhodes. So there we are getting onto our Aegean airline. I love Aegean Airlines. And then we land in Athens and just simply switch planes and fly to Heraklion. Nice thing about taking the flight to Heraklion, it actually went over quite a few of the islands. But here is the island as we're getting ready to come into it for our landing. I had to kind of fly over it and come back. And then this did not come out of our camera. This is a picture that I found. But this is the harbor area of Heraklion. And our hotel is, for the most part, right here. So you can see where we're located. It's very, very easy to walk to the various places. And by the way, the double-decker bus has a stop right here. And then here's a view of the Hotel Lido from out on the street, actually right near the harbor. And then, of course, we've got to have our standard room look. So here's the nice inside of the room. I believe it was $105 a night. And there's the bed. And, of course, we had a nice little balcony there. We could sit out and relax and enjoy the harbor and the fortification, of course. Nice bathroom. And then they have a restaurant. They have a small restaurant. And it's up higher on the side of the hotel. And so we went up there for lunch. You really have to make your reservations in order to get to this location. We were lucky that it was not busy when we were there. So you can sit and see the whole city for the most part and relax. But we only ate here a couple of times. We found a wonderful seafood place along the walk along the coast. There's a nice shot of the harbor where the ferries come and go. And then there's the main street going towards the airport. And there's Sherry sitting, waiting for our food. And she had some really nice vegetarian dish. And of course, I had the chunk of meat to eat. See, while we were sitting up there, we noticed the double-decker bus. We always kind of keep track of it. I didn't look for it. I knew that you could get out to Canassus by going to the museum, and they had shuttles that went back and forth. Now here is the route that the bus that we were taking, the red bus, followed. So they pick us up right down here in the harbor, and then we go down towards the old ruins, and then we go by the Natural History Museum. We also go by the aquarium. Then we head through the historical gate to the old town. We go by Katsalonicus' grave, and then go out through the Gate of Jesus, and then we head out to Canassus. And then you get off at Canassus, do your Canassus thing, get back on, and then it takes you to Hotel Galaxy, then down here to where the museum is located, and then it does the harbor area, and then comes back and drops us off. And you also see the area here in this orange, which is another service that they run from the harbor to the museum. But this is an area that we will walk back after we've been to the museum. And of course, if you've ever seen a double-decker bus, here's what they look like. You find them all over the world. And it's one of the best ways to get a quick view of what's going on in the city. And if they don't have a really good metro system, this is a method of being able to see lots of areas in various cities and towns. And then from the stop, this is the view back, and there's our hotel right up here with the restaurant along the top of it. So let's take a bus ride. Now here we are going along the coast for a little bit. On the other side of the bus, there's a series of ruins from one of the old churches. And then we come down to the aquarium. Then you continue around. There's a nice little viewing port over here. But what's coming up ahead is something that was very popular when we were there, and that is the Natural History Museum, which you can't miss with the giant dinosaur on the side. Then you go a little further, and this is a spot where you could change to another bus which continues on up the coast. And it gives you a nice vantage point for looking out to sea. And now we're turning from that position and going to head inland. And now as you start seeing the fortification, there's one of the edges. And I was told that you could walk this, but it's quite extensive. And then we're going by one of the sections where people park so they can climb up onto the fortifications. And in some areas they do have soccer fields. And then here's the main gate leaving the old city. And then you're heading into the newer city, but it's still fortified, so there's another set of protections. You can see the defenses on the other end. And then this is near the tomb of Katsalonicus. People come and visit. And then we're heading into the area where you have the main exit. This is where the main fortification is located, and you can see some of the lights up there for a soccer stadium. And as we get closer to the entrance, there we go. You can see how thick it is. And the Venetians built defenses. They built defenses. Didn't do them any good. They ended up losing Crete, just like they lost Rhodes and other places as well to the Ottomans. And then coming out, looking back towards some of the fortifications, there you can see them at different levels. And now we're getting ready to go by the museum, which is kind of shrouded in the trees here. And then we just start leaving the city. So we drive through the city for a ways until we come to the sign that says Canassus, that way. So we turn, and then we work our way through the neighborhoods, going up and down hills and what have you. It's just a little beyond where we are at this particular point, just as we pass this building up here. Then you come to the parking lot of Canassus. Now, if you haven't seen the show that Sherry and I did on Canassus, which is one of our early shows that's still up on YouTube, and I've got a link to it in the description. Here are some of the sites that you would see. So here is the entrance into the site at Canassus, which is one of the main palaces of the Minoan era. And then here you have one of the buildings to the south of the main palace. And then you look back up, and this is the top of the main palace, and you see the bull horns here, and you see some of the reconstructions. And this is one of the things about the site. The Greeks normally don't do reconstructions, but this was first excavated by Sir Arthur Evans, and he thought that he could make more money if they made some recreations. So they did accurately recreate some of the palace. Unfortunately, now it needs as much restoration as the rest of the palace. So here we are inside the queen's chambers, and you see some of the mosaics. Now, the originals are in the museum. And then you go down below, go down to the next level, and you come to the main courtyard. And the line that we're standing in here is the courtyard to take a view of the throne room. And so here you have a picture of the throne with the recreated painting on the side. I know everybody goes, oh, it's not really that impressive. Hey, this was in the Bronze Age. It's pretty impressive. And we go outside, go around. This is the bull mosaic, which is not far from one of the lustrums or one of the bathing areas. And then here you see the main road. This road would actually take you into Heraklion into the harbor area. And then here's Sherry standing by the road. Would have been fun to try and walk that, but they really don't want you to do that, as you can see. So we went in and had lunch. And then here's a view from the parking lot as we're getting ready to head back into Heraklion. And we don't go exactly back the same way. We do to a certain point, and then we'll turn so that we'll veer around the rest of the city. So here's one of the roads leading back into the center of the city. And from this vantage point, you can see the harbor down below. And then here's a view, because we're right across the street from the museum. So here's some of the defenses of the Venetians. And then here we are as we're going by the museum. And then we're going to head back down again in through the fortifications. And here's one of the stopping points where they have places that people get off for various things. My understanding also is they have a kind of an amphitheater up there. And so here is the area where the port is located. So this is the main port entry. And the parking lot for the port. Obviously, the double-decker buses come down here because frequently they pick people, passenger cruises and stuff pick people up. And here's two of the ships that were in port, the Minoan Line and the Blue Star ferries. I think we took the Blue Star ferry to Santorini. And then we're heading back into the old area. You can see our hotel right here. And this building that we're going by is the old arsenal. This is where the Venetians would build ships. And then here we are going by the harbor, and you can see the Venetian fortifications. And they let us off right where we got on. And we then went back to the hotel, and here is the beautiful sunset that we saw that first day as it's going and changing in the nights. Sherry and I hope you enjoyed the tour. Please come by our YouTube channel at Bob Packett, and please subscribe and leave some comments. Thank you very much. I've been doing podcasting on history for over 15 years. I've got over 4,000 shows, and I've done CDs, which of course can be sent out as USBs. So if you would really like to get more on history for free, then come by my website, as you see here, historyaccordingtobob.com, and see what's there. So thank you very much again.